Chiefs won. Both your teams that you play for, Chiefs and Eagles, won. And some are calling it the Andy Reid Bowl. Some are calling it the Kelce Bowl. We're calling it the JD, the Dunn Bowl on this show. But this game kind of brings a little bit of a historic moment for the NFL and just the whole world in general. Whereas it's the first time we're going to have two African-American quarterbacks going up against each other in the Super Bowl. I think it's crazy that only three African-American quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl, Doug Williams being one, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes. And now we're guaranteed an African-American quarterback winning the Super Bowl this time around. But JD, just talk to us about the historic impact of this, of Mahomes playing against Burrow in the Super Bowl. Just talk about. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I think sometimes you don't necessarily get to appreciate these nuggets or first things happen in the history. Especially something like this is phenomenal just to hear it and just to see it. Especially, I guess, when you look at where the league has gone, right? Where it kind of started to where it is now. And this is significance. And so when you have two guys, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, with the ancestry of, African-American, you got to celebrate it. It's a good thing. These two young guys, two gunslingers that I think all the time they don't get the credit that's due to them. I really do. But I think it just shows like the transition of where we've been going on in this world, in this United States in itself, of just getting more guys out there as quarterbacks, African American quarterbacks out there. Because back in the day, if a lot of people don't know, it's just where it used to be, where they didn't think that blacks were intelligent enough to play quarterback. There's a lot of things like even now they tell some of the quarterbacks that are runners, more so they say, running quarterbacks, that they can't play quarterback. Can't be a QB in the NFL. And that's just not true. They say it about Lamar Jackson. They was talking about Jalen Hurts. They say, Patrick Mahomes is playing backyard football. And so sometimes I don't think, I think it's just a lack of awareness, possibly. I think if you're not necessarily, if it doesn't necessarily affect you personally in some type of ways, and you can't empathize, then it's different. The people can't necessarily see it. And so it's the same thing. Like if we had like two women who maybe done some different things and stuff like that, then, it's like, wow, you should be, celebrating those things. I got daughters. And so they like, hey, Dad, this is the first time, two women are able to do these things. And absolutely, that's a wonderful thing. And it should be celebrated. And sometimes, marginalized communities, because of the things that have been going in the past, doesn't necessarily have, I guess, those things to celebrate and put their stakes on. But this now right here, with the significance of it, I think is very special. And so, man, like I said, two very talented quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. And so this is going to be a nice, hard-fought game. But the historical indication, the significance of an importance is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that and I think we had our guy Benjamin Watchhold here who said Warren Moon is still the only African American quarterback in the Hall of Fame, and that goes to show you that through the test of time, there really hasn't been that many. If you think about the amount of quarterbacks that have been playing for so long, you think about that, that's not that many African American quarterbacks who've even played. And then now you got nowadays, you fast forward to now, you got two guys in the Super Bowl. You got three of the projected first round quarterback picks this coming draft class will be African American between Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Anthony Richardson from Florida. So you have three guys right there. So then that goes to show you the game is changing. But also a counter to that, talk about the progression of in the NFL having more African American quarterbacks, but you're also seeing more a regression in the minority coaches. You're not seeing. I think as of right now, you got Mike Tomlin, you got D'Amico Ryans now.
Yes. Trying to think who else. You could say McDaniel's down there in Miami. Yeah.
McDaniel, Todd Bowles. So that was at 4.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's and we're talking about a game that's mostly, mostly minorities in this game now. It's cool to celebrate, the progression and stuff. Not everything comes together and stuff, but we're seeing progression in one, coming up in the rear in other aspects. But we're all getting better, right? I mean, it's the end of the game.
At the end of the day, man, it's okay to acknowledge these things and celebrate them for what they are, right? And if people feel like, hey, like, you know what, this is not important, like why they had to make it about race and whatnot. But the thing is, where people who are dealing with these things of maybe racism, or if they see, a bias or whatever it may be, then, they understand the part of it, the significance of it. And so, like I said before, man, these things should be acknowledged. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it doesn't, then you don't have to say anything about it, right? It's not necessarily saying, well, somebody else, they should this, or no. What we're saying is, hey, this is something that is historical. It's the first time it's ever happened, and it should be acknowledged as such. And so, now that's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. So that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And also, too, it's forget about the minority aspect and the historical aspect. There's two good guys. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes are two good guys, and they're guys that it's a story. They both have stories where you can really get behind. Where Patrick wasn't the highest graded guy coming out of high school, went to Texas Tech. Jalen Hurts was at Alabama, had a transfer because he got benched, and he had to compete for that starting spot at Oklahoma. And then, and then up until last year, the Philadelphia fans wanted him out. They didn't even want him to be the quarterback, to be the guy. And look, it's stories like that, which is just, it's so cool. It just shows you how, what these guys are ranked coming out of high school. It doesn't mean crap. That doesn't tell the whole story.
Well, I think it's that, just going through that, just talking about Jalen Hurts in itself, not just Jalen Hurts, but also to Patrick Mahomes. I think Dante Hall, he shared a little bit something on IG. He was talking about how people were saying, about Patrick Mahomes, like, why do you take a guy? Why do you, go ahead and move up in the draft to get a guy like this, right? He doesn't set his feet. He's not the traditional quarterback. He's not the traditional guy. Same thing they say about Jalen Hurts. He's not the traditional guys. Well, they win. Patrick's been to 5 AFC championships, right? He's a winner. Jalen Hurts is a winner. Goes from Alabama winning, Oklahoma being a winner. And so sometimes when you use the significance on particular guys, like when they say Joe Burrow, well, shoot, Jalen Hurts is just as accomplished. I mean, he's been winning. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, because he's not the typical guy, then then all of a sudden it might be a slight to him. And that, to me, that's the thing that really irks me and other people when they hear things like this, right? And so, when you give these guys, they do, and they were trying to downplay Patrick Mahomes not being this guy, and he is the most accomplished guy as fast as he has been able to do it. It shows you how wrong people were, right? Yeah. Doug Peterson didn't want Jalen Hurts. He shouldn't have been a starter, and this guy is taking him to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And I love Doug. I think, Doug was, but he has his way here, how he runs his system. And so sometimes when you see, it's the same thing like how you see tight ends today, right? It ain't the traditional tight end that's hitting, guys in the mouth for being 275 like I was to block. Now you got more athletic, smaller tight ends that can get open, that can do a little bit more of the blocking. And so that's what you're talking about. You're transitioning to a different phase of the game. It's not saying that these guys are not good tight ends or anything like that. They're tight ends. It just because the league has changed a little bit, right? Which is a good thing. It's a great thing. And, it's important to like I said, to acknowledge these things. So,
hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.